In many parts of the world, the New Year begins with fireworks, countdowns, and midnight celebrations. But across a vast region stretching from the Middle East to Central Asia, the New Year arrives in a much quieter and far more ancient way. It begins at the exact moment when winter releases its grip and spring touches the earth again. This moment is called Nowruz, a name that means new day in Persian, and it marks one of the oldest continuous celebrations in human history. What makes Nowruz remarkable is not simply that it is old. Many ancient traditions have disappeared with the civilizations that created them. Nowruz did not. It survived the rise and fall of empires, the transformation of religions, the shifting of borders, and thousands of years of cultural change. Even today, more than 3,000 years after its earliest roots, the celebration still arrives with the same meaning it carried in the ancient Persian world. Every year, more than 300 million people celebrate Nowruz. The festival spreads across countries such as Iran, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, and parts of Iraq and Turkey. It is also celebrated in communities scattered across Europe, North America, and beyond, despite language differences, political divisions, and cultural variations. These communities share a common moment. They pause to welcome the arrival of a new cycle of life. Unlike many calendars created purely by human decision, Nowruz begins with a real cosmic event. The celebration starts at the precise instant of the spring equinox, when the sun crosses the celestial equator and day and night become perfectly equal across the planet. For ancient observers, this moment represented balance in the universe itself. Light and darkness stood in harmony, signaling that the long sleep of winter had finally ended. To the people of ancient Persia, this balance was far more than an astronomical curiosity. It was a profound symbol of renewal. The earth was waking up. Seeds hidden beneath frozen soil were preparing to grow again. Rivers began to flow more freely. Animals emerged from their winter stillness. Nature itself seemed to announce that life had been given another chance to begin. That idea of renewal became the heart of Nowruz. Families clean their homes, prepare symbolic objects, cook traditional foods, and gather together to welcome the turning of the seasons. The celebration is not only about marking time, it is about reconnecting with the rhythm of the natural world and remembering that every ending contains the possibility of a beginning. But the deeper story of Nowruz goes even further back than the celebration itself. Long before modern nations existed, the people of the ancient Persian world developed a philosophy that connected the movement of the cosmos with the moral order of human life. In Terbu, the arrival of spring was not random. It was part of a universal struggle between light and darkness, renewal and decay. And this raises a fascinating question. If Nowruz began in the distant world of ancient Persia thousands of years ago, how did it survive the collapse of empires, the arrival of new religions, and the enormous transformations of history? To truly understand Nowruz, it is necessary to travel far beyond the modern world and step into the distant past of ancient Persia. Thousands of years ago, long before the borders of today's countries existed, the people of this region lived in close harmony with the cycles of nature. The rising and setting of the sun, the movement of the stars, and the turning of the seasons were not just natural events. They were seen as part of a larger cosmic story that shaped human life. Among these ancient Persian communities emerged a spiritual tradition that would deeply influence the meaning of Nowruz. This religion is known today as Zoroastrianism, one of the oldest monotheistic belief systems ever recorded. It was founded by the prophet Zarathustra, a visionary thinker who proposed a powerful idea about the nature of the universe. According to Zarathustra's teachings, existence is shaped by an eternal struggle between two opposing forces. One represents truth, light, order, and wisdom. The other represents chaos, darkness, falsehood, and destruction. Human beings, in Tisbision, are not passive observers of this conflict. They are active participants, capable of choosing which force they will strengthen through their thoughts, words, and actions. Within this philosophy, nature itself became a reflection of this cosmic balance. Light symbolized truth and divine harmony, while darkness represented disorder. Fire held a sacred place in this belief system because it embodied purity and the visible presence of divine energy. For this reason, Zoroastrian temples were often built around eternal flames that were carefully preserved by priests. When spring arrived each year, it carried profound symbolic meaning. After months of cold and darkness, the increasing strength of the sun signaled that light was returning to the world. Snow melted, plants began to grow again, and the land slowly awakened from winter's silence. To the ancient Persians, this was not simply a seasonal change. It was a visible reminder that renewal is always possible. This moment of transformation became the foundation of Nowruz. The celebration was linked to the spring equinox, the precise moment when day and night stand in perfect balance across the planet. In the worldview of ancient Persia, this balance reflected the ideal state of the universe. It symbolized harmony between opposing forces and the possibility of beginning again. As a result, Nowruz became both a spiritual and cultural turning point in the year. People cleaned their homes, prepared food, gathered with family members, and welcomed the arrival of a new cycle of life. The festival encouraged reflection, renewal, and a conscious decision to move forward with wisdom and clarity. Over time, these traditions spread across the growing Persian world. When the great Persian empires rose to power, Nowruz evolved into one of the most important celebrations of the entire region. Historical evidence from the ancient city of Persepolis shows that the festival was already being celebrated on a grand scale more than 2,500 years ago. Delegations from distant lands traveled to the imperial capital, bringing gifts to the Persian king during the spring festival. These events symbolized not only political loyalty, but also a shared cultural recognition of the turning of the year. Even today, stone carvings in Persepolis still show these processions, frozen in time as a reminder of how ancient this celebration truly is. Yet history tells only part of the story. Alongside the religious philosophy and the imperial ceremonies, Persian culture also preserved legends that attempted to explain the origin of Nowruz in a different way. These stories did not speak about emperors or priests, but about a mythical king whose actions were said to have changed the fate of humanity. And according to ancient Persian mythology, the celebration of Nowruz began on the very day that this legendary ruler transformed the world. Long before written history preserved the traditions of Persia, stories traveled through generations by word of mouth. These stories carried the memory of heroes, kings, and mythical events that explained the origins of the world as people understood it. Among the most enduring of these legends is the story of King Jamshid, a figure who occupies a powerful place in Persian mythology and in the cultural imagination surrounding Nowruz. In ancient Persian tradition, Jamshid was remembered as a king of extraordinary wisdom and vision. He was said to have ruled during a golden age when humanity first began to organize society and master the skills needed for civilization to flourish. According to the legend, it was under Jamshid's guidance that people learned how to build homes, weave fabrics, craft tools, and divide society into different roles so communities could function in harmony. But the story of Jamshid is not only about progress and prosperity. It also tells of a great danger that once threatened the survival of the world. Ancient tales speak of a catastrophic winter, a season so severe that it brought darkness, freezing winds, and the collapse of life across the land. Crops failed, animals disappeared, and humanity faced the possibility of extinction. Faced with this approaching disaster, Jamshid is said to have acted with remarkable foresight. Guided by wisdom and divine inspiration, he prepared humanity for the coming darkness. In some versions of the myth, he created protected spaces where humans, animals, and plants could survive until the deadly winter passed. These acts transformed him into a symbol of protection and renewal. Eventually, the harsh winter came to an end. The frozen world slowly began to awaken. Snow melted across the mountains, rivers flowed again, and the land once more showed signs of life. The return of warmth and light was seen as a miraculous rebirth of the earth itself. According to the legend, it was on this day of renewal that Jamshid sat upon a magnificent throne decorated with gold and precious stones. As sunlight struck the throne, its brilliance reflected across the land, filling the sky with radiant light. Witnessing this extraordinary sight, the people celebrated with joy and wonder. They called that moment Nowruz, the new day. The legend of Jamshid is not meant to be read as literal history. Instead, it reflects something deeper about how ancient cultures understood the world around them. The story expresses the universal human experience of surviving hardship and welcoming renewal. It captures the emotional power of the moment when winter finally gives way to spring. For generations, this myth helped give meaning to the celebration of Nowruz. It connected the arrival of the spring equinox with the idea that humanity could overcome darkness and begin again. King Jamshid became a symbolic figure representing resilience, leadership, and the eternal cycle of rebirth. Yet myths alone do not sustain a tradition for thousands of years. What truly keeps Nowruz alive are the rituals practiced by ordinary people in their everyday lives. And as the new year approaches, families across the Persian world begin preparing for the festival in ways that are both practical and deeply symbolic. In the days leading up to Nowruz, something remarkable begins to happen inside homes and communities. People begin to clean, renew, and transform the spaces where they live, as if preparing the world itself for the arrival of a new beginning. Long before the exact moment of the spring equinox arrives, the spirit of Nowruz begins to appear quietly in homes and neighborhoods across the Persian world. The days leading up to the new year are not treated as ordinary time. Instead, they are seen as a sacred period of preparation, a gradual transition between the old cycle that is ending and the new one that is about to begin. One of the most important traditions during this period is known as Khane Takani, a Persian expression that can be translated as shaking the house. The phrase may sound unusual, but its meaning is simple and powerful. Families thoroughly clean their homes from top to bottom, washing carpets, opening windows, reorganizing rooms, and removing objects that carry the weight of the past year. At first glance, this may seem like an ordinary seasonal cleaning, but within the cultural and symbolic world of Nowruz, this act carries a deeper meaning. Cleaning the home represents the removal of stagnation, negativity, and unresolved energy from the previous year. It is a way of creating space for renewal. Much like the natural world clearing away the remains of winter to allow new life to grow. During this time, many families also repair broken objects, repaint walls, or rearrange furniture. The transformation of the living space reflects a larger idea embedded in the philosophy of the celebration. Just as the earth renews itself with the arrival of spring, human beings are encouraged to renew their own environments and intentions. Another tradition that often accompanies these preparations is the purchase of new clothing. Wearing fresh garments during Nowruz symbolizes a fresh start, a visible expression that the individual is stepping into a new phase of life. Markets and bazaars become lively as people search for fabrics, decorations, sweets, and gifts that will be shared during the upcoming celebration. Food preparation also begins during these weeks. Kitchens fill with the aromas of traditional dishes and sweets that are closely associated with the new year. Families often prepare large quantities of these foods, knowing that the days ahead will involve visiting relatives, welcoming guests, and sharing meals together. But perhaps the most meaningful aspect of these preparations is the emotional atmosphere they create. The act of preparing for Nowruz brings families together. Parents, children, and grandparents all participate in different ways, transforming what might otherwise be routine tasks into shared rituals of anticipation and connection. There is a quiet sense that something important is approaching. The air carries the feeling of transition, as if the entire community is collectively preparing to turn a page in the story of the year. As the final days before Nowruz approach, anticipation begins to spread through cities, towns, and villages across the Persian cultural world. Streets grow more vibrant, families gather outdoors, and the quiet preparations of previous weeks give way to a ritual that is both ancient and visually unforgettable. This tradition is known as Chaharshanbe Suri, the Festival of Fire. Chaharshanbe Suri takes place on the last Wednesday evening before Nowruz. As night falls, small bonfires begin to appear in courtyards, streets, and open spaces. The flames flicker against the darkness, illuminating groups of people who gather around them with excitement and laughter. For many families, this is one of the most joyful moments of the entire Nowruz season. At the heart of the celebration is a simple yet powerful ritual. One by one, people run and jump over the flames. As they leap across the fire, they recite an ancient phrase that carries a deep symbolic meaning. In Persian, the words express a wish to give the fire their sickness, fatigue, and misfortune, while receiving the warmth, energy, and vitality of the flame in return. This act may appear playful on the surface, but its symbolism reaches back into ancient Persian spiritual traditions. Fire has long been regarded as a sacred element in Persian culture, particularly within the Zoroastrian worldview, where it represents purity, truth, and divine presence. Jumping over the fire is not an act of defiance against it, but rather a gesture of trust and transformation. In a symbolic sense, the flames become a bridge between the old year and the new one. As people leap across them, they imagine leaving behind the burdens accumulated during the past months. Illness, sadness, and difficulties are metaphorically transferred to the fire, which burns them away. Children often participate with particular enthusiasm, running between bonfires while adults watch and share stories. The atmosphere is festive and communal. Music plays, traditional snacks are shared, and the glow of the fires creates a sense of warmth that spreads through the entire neighborhood. Another fascinating aspect of Chaharshanbe Suri involves small acts of playful mystery. In some regions, young people participate in a custom similar to a lighthearted game of disguise and curiosity. They may knock on doors while hiding their identity and receive small treats from neighbors, a practice that reflects the spirit of generosity and community that surrounds the festival. All of these traditions transform the final Wednesday night before Nowruz into a celebration of purification and renewal. The fire becomes a symbol of transformation, burning away the old and preparing the path for a fresh beginning. When the flames finally fade and the night grows quiet again, the sense of anticipation becomes even stronger. The old year is nearly finished. Homes have been cleaned, communities have gathered, and the fire has carried away the lingering shadows of the past. Now only one final preparation remains before the arrival of the new year. This sacred arrangement is known as the Haft Seen. As the final hours before Nowruz approach, a quiet transformation begins inside homes across the Persian world. Families gather around tables, carefully arranging objects that carry deep symbolic meaning. This tradition, known as the Haft Seen, is one of the most recognizable and cherished elements of the Persian New Year. At first glance, it may look like a beautifully decorated table, but in reality, it is a symbolic map of life itself. The name Haft Seen comes from the Persian language and means 7S. It refers to 7 specific items placed on the table, each beginning with the letter S. In Persian, these objects are not chosen randomly. Each one represents an essential concept connected to life, renewal, and the hopes people carry into the new year. One of the most important elements is sabza, which consists of young green sprouts grown from wheat, lentils, or barley. The fresh green shoots represent rebirth and the awakening of nature after winter. Nearby is samanu, a sweet pudding made from germinated wheat that symbolizes strength, patience, and the quiet rewards of perseverance. Another item placed on the table is seer, or garlic, representing health and protection. Alongside it sits seeb, the apple often polished to a bright shine as a symbol of beauty and vitality. Sirka, which means vinegar, reflects patience and the wisdom that comes from aging and experience. Somak, a deep red spice made from crushed berries, symbolizes the color of sunrise and the triumph of light over darkness. Completing the traditional 7 is senged, the fruit of the oleaster tree. In Persian symbolism, it represents love and the deep emotional bonds that connect people to one another. But the Haft Seen table does not stop with these 7 elements. Many families also add other symbolic objects that enrich the meaning of the display. A mirror is often placed at the center, reflecting light and representing self-reflection as the new year begins. Candles may be lit to symbolize enlightenment and hope. Decorated eggs represent fertility and the continuation of life across generations. Goldfish swimming in clear bowls sometimes appear on the table as well, symbolizing movement, vitality, and the flow of life. Books also hold an important place. Some families include the Quran, while others place classical Persian poetry, such as the works of Hafiz or Ferdowsi, reflecting the deep cultural heritage of the Persian world. When the Haft Seen table is complete, it becomes more than a decoration. It becomes the spiritual center of the home during Nowruz. Families gather around it in the final moments before the equinox, waiting for the exact instant when the new year begins. Each object on the table quietly tells part of a story about life itself. Growth, patience, love, wisdom, health, and renewal are all present in symbolic form. Yet the deeper meaning of the Haft Seen lies not only in the objects themselves, but in the ideas they represent. When viewed together, These symbols reveal a philosophy of life that has been passed down for thousands of years. And understanding these hidden meanings allows us to see Nowruz not just as a celebration, but as a reflection on what it truly means to begin again. At first glance, the Haft Seen table may appear to be a simple cultural decoration prepared for the arrival of the new year. But for those who understand its deeper symbolism, every element on the table carries a message about the human journey through life. Each object represents a value that ancient Persian culture believed was essential for living in harmony with the world. Take sabza, for example, the fresh green sprouts grown from grains such as wheat or lentils. These delicate shoots symbolize rebirth and the unstoppable return of life. After the long silence of winter, the appearance of new growth reminds people that renewal is always possible, even after periods of hardship or uncertainty. Samanu, the rich and sweet pudding made from germinated wheat, carries a different meaning. Its preparation requires patience and time, as the wheat must slowly transform before it becomes the final dish. Because of this process, Samanu has come to symbolize strength, resilience, and the quiet rewards that come from perseverance. The presence of seer, or garlic, reflects another important idea. Garlic has long been associated with protection and healing in many cultures. On the Haft Seen table, it represents health and the desire to keep illness and misfortune away from the household during the year ahead. CB, the apple, brings a symbol of beauty, vitality, and balance. Its round shape and vibrant color evoke harmony in both body and spirit. Meanwhile, sirka, the vinegar, represents patience and the wisdom that develops over time. Just as vinegar forms through a long process of transformation, human understanding often grows slowly through life experience. Sumac, with its deep red color, symbolizes the rising sun and the victory of light over darkness. It echoes the cosmic moment of the equinox itself, when light begins to dominate the longer days of spring. Finally, Senjd, the fruit of the oleaster tree, represents love and emotional connection, reminding people that relationships are at the heart of a meaningful life. When these 7 elements are brought together on the Haft Seen table, they form more than a collection of symbolic objects. They create a philosophical reflection on what people hope to cultivate in the year ahead. Growth, patience, health, love, wisdom, and balance are not simply abstract ideas. They are qualities that individuals strive to nurture within themselves and within their communities. This symbolic language transforms the celebration of Nowruz into something deeper than a seasonal festival. It becomes a moment of reflection, a pause in time where families gather not only to celebrate, but also to think about the values that guide their lives. And then, after days of preparation and reflection, the moment everyone has been waiting for finally arrives. The precise instant when the earth itself signals the beginning of the new year. After weeks of preparation, cleaning, cooking, and gathering symbolic objects, everything leads to a single, precise moment. Unlike many New Year celebrations that begin at midnight by tradition, Nowruz starts at an exact astronomical instant. It is the moment of the spring equinox, when the sun crosses the celestial equator and day and night become equal across the earth. For families who celebrate Nowruz, this moment is deeply meaningful. In homes across Iran, Central Asia, and many parts of the Persian cultural world, relatives gather together around the Haft Seen table as the equinox approaches. Television channels often broadcast the countdown to the exact second, while elders quietly watch the clock and children wait with excitement. When the moment finally arrives, the atmosphere changes instantly. Smiles spread across faces, people embrace one another, and warm greetings fill the room. It is common to hear wishes for happiness, prosperity, and health in the year that is beginning. The new cycle of life has officially begun. The act of gathering together during this precise moment carries deep symbolic meaning. It reflects the belief that human life should remain connected to the rhythms of the universe. Just as the earth moves through its cosmic cycles, people are invited to reflect on their own journeys and step into the new year with renewed intention. In many households, elders give small gifts or money to younger members of the family, a gesture that symbolizes generosity and the passing of blessings from one generation to the next. Sweet foods are shared, candles glow on the Haft Seen table, and the mirror placed among the symbolic objects reflects the faces of those present, reminding everyone that the new year begins with the people gathered in that moment. Outside the home, cities often become lively with celebrations. Parks, streets, and public spaces fill with people greeting friends and neighbors. The arrival of spring brings a sense of collective renewal that extends beyond individual families into entire communities. But Nowruz is not a celebration that lasts only for a single night. In fact, the festival unfolds across many days, allowing people to strengthen their social bonds and reconnect with relatives, friends, and neighbors. During the days that follow the equinox, an important tradition begins to take place, one that transforms the new year into a time of visits, generosity, and renewed relationships. Once the moment of the equinox has passed and the new year officially begins, the celebration of Nowruz enters one of its most meaningful phases. In the days that follow, homes open their doors to friends, relatives, and neighbors in a tradition known as Didobe, which can be understood as visiting and being visited. This custom transforms the new year into a time of reconnection and social harmony. Traditionally, the first visits are made to the eldest members of the family. Younger relatives travel to the homes of grandparents, parents, and respected elders to offer greetings and express their respect. These visits are not rushed encounters. They are moments of conversation, shared memories, and the reaffirmation of family bonds that stretch across generations. Inside the home, guests are welcomed warmly and invited to sit near the Haft Seen table, which remains displayed throughout the early days of the new year. Hosts offer sweets, fruits, nuts, and tea as part of the hospitality that defines the celebration. These shared moments create a relaxed and joyful atmosphere where stories are exchanged and laughter fills the room. One of the most anticipated aspects of these visits is the tradition of giving small gifts to children. Elders often present them with crisp banknotes or symbolic tokens meant to bring prosperity and good fortune. For younger family members, this gesture adds an element of excitement and anticipation to the holiday. But beyond the gifts and hospitality, the deeper purpose of these visits lies in something more profound. Nowruz encourages people to mend relationships and strengthen the social fabric of their communities. Old misunderstandings are often set aside, and people take the opportunity to reconnect with relatives or friends they may not have seen in months or even years. In this way, the celebration becomes a powerful reminder that the renewal of life is not only about nature, but also about human relationships. Just as the earth awakens after winter, the bonds between people are refreshed and strengthened. As the days pass, homes remain lively, with visitors and celebrations continue across neighborhoods and cities. Yet the story of Nowruz still has one final chapter waiting at the end of the festival. On the 13th day of the new year, families leave their homes behind and return to the natural world, where the celebration reaches its symbolic conclusion. 13 days after the arrival of Nowruz, the celebration reaches its final and most outdoors-oriented moment. This day is known as Saizda Bedar, a tradition that brings families out of their homes and into nature. Parks, gardens, riversides, and open fields suddenly fill with people carrying blankets, baskets of food, and the joyful spirit of a long-awaited gathering. From early morning, families begin setting up picnics under trees or across green fields that have only recently awakened with the arrival of spring. Children run freely through the grass, music fills the air, and groups of relatives and friends spend hours sharing meals, laughter, and games. The atmosphere is relaxed and festive, as if the entire community has decided to step outside and celebrate the beauty of the natural world together. The choice of the 13th day is not accidental. In ancient Persian culture, the number 13 was sometimes associated with instability or uncertainty. Instead of treating the day with fear, however, people transformed it into an opportunity to leave the home and spend time in nature. By doing so, they symbolically remove negative energy and allow the new year to continue with balance and harmony. One of the most important rituals of Saizda Bedar involves the sabza, the green sprouts that were placed on the Haft Seen table during the New Year celebration. After nearly 2 weeks inside the home, these delicate plants are taken outdoors and gently released into flowing water such as rivers or streams. This act carries powerful symbolism. The sabza is believed to have absorbed the difficulties, worries, and negative energies of the past year. By returning it to nature, people symbolically release those burdens and allow the water to carry them away. Young people sometimes participate in another playful tradition during this moment. They tie small knots in blades of grass while making wishes for the future often hoping for love, happiness, or personal success in the year ahead. Sajda Bidar, therefore, closes the Nowruz season by reconnecting people with the natural world. After days of visiting relatives and celebrating inside homes, the final act of the festival returns everyone to the forests, fields, and rivers that inspired the celebration in the first place. Yet, while these rituals may appear ancient, Nowruz is far from a forgotten tradition. In fact, it continues to evolve and thrive across the modern world, connecting millions of people to a heritage that has endured for thousands of years. Although Nowruz was born in the ancient landscapes of Persia thousands of years ago, the celebration did not remain confined to the past. Instead, it traveled across centuries, cultures, and borders, becoming one of the most enduring cultural traditions on Earth. Today, the festival is celebrated by more than 300 million people across a vast region that stretches from the Middle East to Central Asia and beyond. Countries such as Iran, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, Azerbaijan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, and parts of Iraq, Turkey, and the Caucasus all mark the arrival of Nowruz in their own unique ways. While local customs may vary, the central themes of renewal, hospitality, and connection to nature remain remarkably consistent. The shared celebration reveals a cultural thread that links diverse peoples through a common heritage. In the modern era, Nowruz has also traveled far beyond its original geographic roots. Persian communities living in Europe, North America, and other parts of the world continue to celebrate the new year with the same traditions practiced by their ancestors, even thousands of kilometers away from their homeland. Families gather around the Haft Seen table, prepare traditional dishes, and wait for the moment of the spring equinox. International recognition has further highlighted the cultural significance of the festival. In 2009, Nowruz was officially recognized by UNESCO as part of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. This recognition acknowledged the festival not only as a historical tradition, but as a living cultural practice that continues to shape the identity of millions of people. A year later, the United Nations General Assembly proclaimed March 21st as the International Day of Nowruz. This global recognition reflects the festival's universal message of renewal, peace, and solidarity between cultures. What began as a regional celebration thousands of years ago has now become a symbol of cultural continuity on a global scale. In many cities around the world today, public Nowruz festivals bring together music, dance, traditional foods, and cultural performances. These events allow younger generations to experience the traditions of their ancestors while sharing them with people from different backgrounds. This ability to adapt while preserving its essential meaning is one of the reasons Nowruz has survived for so long. Empires have risen and fallen, religions have changed, and societies have transformed. Yet the festival continues to return each year with the arrival of spring, carrying with it the same timeless message of renewal. And perhaps that is the most remarkable aspect of Nowruz, because beyond the rituals, the symbols, and the celebrations, the festival reflects something deeply human that transcends culture and history. After thousands of years of history, countless generations, and the rise and fall of entire civilizations, Nowruz continues to return each spring with the same quiet message that first inspired its celebration. Beneath the rituals, the symbols, and the festive gatherings lies a simple yet profound idea. Life moves in cycles, and with every ending comes the possibility of a new beginning. For the ancient Persians who first observed the spring equinox with such reverence, the renewal of nature was more than a seasonal change. It was a reminder that the world is constantly regenerating itself. Winter may bring darkness and stillness, but it never lasts forever. Eventually, the light returns, the earth awakens, and life begins again. This philosophy remains at the heart of Nowruz today. When families clean their homes, gather around the Haft Seen table, jump over flames, visit loved ones, and spend the 13th day in nature, they are participating in a tradition that celebrates renewal in every sense of the word. The renewal of the natural world, the renewal of relationships, and the renewal of personal intentions. What makes Nowruz truly remarkable is its ability to connect people across time. The same spring sun that warms the earth today is the one that ancient communities watched thousands of years ago when they first recognized the power of the equinox. In that moment, the distance between past and present seems to disappear. A family sitting around a Haft Seen table today is unknowingly repeating gestures performed by countless generations before them. The lighting of candles, the sharing of food, the exchange of greetings, and the quiet hope for a better year all echo traditions that have traveled across millennia. In a world that often moves at overwhelming speed, Nowruz offers something rare. It invites people to pause, reflect, and remember their connection to nature, to their families, and to the deeper rhythms that shape human life. Perhaps this is why the celebration has endured for more than 3,000 years. Empires may collapse, borders may shift, and cultures may evolve, but the desire for renewal is something that belongs to all of humanity. And every year, when the moment of the spring equinox arrives and the balance between light and darkness is restored, millions of people around the world quietly welcome the same simple idea that their ancestors once celebrated: the arrival of a new day.